I was confused at on this. Are you doing?
Can I turn the light to you real fast?
1641. What time is that?
Yeah, just look it up.
Oh, 441.
Okay, well, it's just because this tripod is loose. I don't know which leg it is, but one of them is loose.
There.
I'm gonna have to kind of hold on to the tripod.
Isn't it? Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Brennan Gurley once again with CBS 19. We are out here on Churchill Street and Esther Street at the intersection of that, where you can see right in front of me, crime scene tape is up. There is a large law enforcement presence out here. We have been able to confirm by Jacksonville Police around 4:41 this afternoon. They responded to reports of an officer down. We are told that that officer has been shot, and that's when Cherokee County's mobile alert system actually issued a message indicating that an armed suspect involved with this shooting is at large near the Benson and Churchill area. We are told that this man is armed and dangerous, and we have been able to be confirmed through law enforcement that the individual that they are looking for is a Bobby Michael Dennis. He is described as a black male, last seen wearing all black clothing. Jacksonville Police again are urging people in this area, which is near Lincoln Park, for people who are familiar with this area, to remain inside, lock all their doors, and stay vigilant. We've been out here now for probably the last hour and 15 minutes, where we have seen the SWAT team come in and out. We believed, or SWAT believed, that the individual, Bobby Michael Dennis, was actually in a shed to the right of us where you're looking at, and they were out there for quite a bit of time, and we're calling out his name. But after, deploying a K-9, they had drones out here, they were able to determine that Bobby Michael Dennis was not in that shed. So again, law enforcement are urgently looking for this individual. They are telling people, again, to avoid this area. I'm just going to show you a picture real quick of who the individual is, just so you guys can help law enforcement if you spot him. Again, I'm just going to leave this picture up here. This is Bobby Michael Dennis. And so if you see him, you know where his whereabouts are. Jacksonville Police is asking you to please call 911. Again, he is armed and dangerous. He shot an officer. We don't know if it's we do know that that officer was flown to a Tyler hospital and is listed as stable condition. Again, we're not sure at this time exactly what led up to Bobby Michael Dennis actually firing that shot, or what, why the officer was approached by him, or if he approached her. We still do not have those details confirmed. Again, this is an active investigation. We are learning several different things by law enforcement about this individual. Again, I'm just going to kind of recap with what we know right now. Multiple agencies are responding after an officer was shot, and that suspect is again still out on the run here in Jacksonville from what we've been told so far. They still believe he is in the area. We're on the intersection of Esther Street and Churchill Street. This is near Lincoln Park. You can see the crime scene tape right here during this live picture that you're looking at right now. We still haven't learned, we probably just learned probably within the 15 minutes ago about that officer being in stable condition. But other than that, details remain slim. Again, because of the nature of this situation involving an officer, they are actively trying to find this man and take him into custody. So just kind of want to start back up at the top. This is, again, Brennan Gurley with CBS 19. We are out here live where a large law enforcement presence is out here. We have been told, and I've also seen myself, SWAT is out here. Jacksonville Police is leading this investigation. Cherokee County Sheriff's Office, DPS, and the Texas Game Warden is out here as well. A lot of these officers have their guns out just because they believe that Bobby Michael Dennis, who is described as a black male last seen wearing all black clothing, is considered armed and dangerous, and that he shot this officer. Again, we don't know how many times, not sure where the officer was shot. We don't know if this was a traffic stop that went bad. Again, details are limited. But as we are learning new information, we are sharing that online at cbs19.tv, as well as here on social media. We're continuing to update you guys by the minute as soon as we learn that information. But the last thing that we did learn is that that officer was flown to a Tyler hospital and is in stable condition. Again, the suspect is still out on the run. He is considered armed and dangerous. We don't know where he is at, but again, a majority of the law enforcement presence is here at Churchill Street and Esther Street by Lincoln Park, if you're familiar with this area. We're going to, that's all the details we have for now. As we do learn more, we'll be sure to come back up here and update you with those details. Mic check. Mic check. 1, 2. Okay.
Oh.
Mic check.
Okay, there we go. It still says it has battery, right?
Yeah. Where would it say that on here?
You pop it out and then hit. Can you tell? Is it PC? Too hard to tell.
So let's get that.
Would you be okay stepping in front of the camera, Brennan, just so I can see how it looks?
Just
No?
whenever he gives me the go
Okay.
ahead, then I will.
Okay. That's why I see how it looks. Just jumping right up.
If you could, I'm going to ask you if you can pan it back there too, just to show what we're looking at. Is there a way or no?
I can try. It's going to be kind of tough.
Okay.
I mean, I can like physically pick the camera up.
A little bit.
Huh?
Okay. Mic check. Mic check. Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Brennan Gurley with CBS 19. We are nearing the about 3-hour mark since law enforcement were called out here to the intersection or near the intersection of Esther Street and Churchill Street for reports of an officer that had been shot. We have been able to confirm by Jacksonville Police probably about an hour ago. They confirmed that an officer was shot by an individual, and that officer was taken to a nearby hospital here in Jacksonville, and then we were later able to confirm that that officer was flown to a Tyler Hospital, and that officer is listed in stable condition. Again, details are limited at this hour as to what we know, but we do know that that suspect involved in that shooting is still out on the run and is considered armed and dangerous. Again, the suspect involved in this officer that was shot is considered armed and dangerous. Multiple agencies are out here. I'm going to go and kind of step out of the shot just so you can kind of see what we're looking at. Jacksonville Police is out here, Cherokee County Sheriff's Office, DPS, Texas Game Wardens. We've been told this is all hands on deck. Now, that suspect that they have identified is as Bobby Michael Dennis. He is described as a black male, last seen wearing all black clothing. Jacksonville Police are urging residents again in the area of Benson Memorial and the 1100 block of Churchill to remain inside, lock all their doors, and stay vigilant. We're out here, or have been out here for most of the night right now, and they're actually out here near a shed where the SWAT team actually had their lights shined on where they believed the suspect to be hiding at. After numerous calls for him to come out, they deployed a K-9 And after calling out his name several times, he was not inside that shed. Again, law enforcement is starting from square one right now to try to figure out where he is at. From what we've been able to gather so far, he is still in the area. And again, it is all hands on deck. I'm going to show you a picture of the suspect that they're looking for. If you can kind of just look at this right now just to see who law enforcement is looking for.
Bring that a little closer.
This can kind of give you an idea just in case if you do see him. Law enforcement is asking you do not approach him, to call 911. Again, he is considered armed and dangerous. There is still a crime scene tape out here, as you can imagine, since this does involve an officer. It is going to involve anyone and everyone coming together to try to take the suspect into custody. Again, from what we know, starting at the top for people who are maybe just joining us, who have been watching, trying to figure out if we have any updates. At this time, there have not been any updates. Last time we updated you is that that officer was airlifted to a Tyler hospital and is in stable condition. Right now, just above me, I know you're not seeing this, but there are drones in the area that are helping assist law enforcement in trying to locate this suspect. Again, we have been trying to make contact with law enforcement to try to give you any kind of updates, but right now, again, they're just the beginning of their investigation and trying to cross their T's and dot their I's. We are at the intersection of Esther Street and Churchill Street. This is near Lincoln Park. As you can see, a lot of law enforcement is out here trying to figure out where this individual is, since he is armed and dangerous. And we did confirm, he did shoot an officer with Jacksonville Police. And we have also been able to confirm that Tyler Police is also assisting in responding to this. They're basically simply just blocking intersections because they're asking people to avoid this area because, again, this man is out, considered armed and dangerous, and they are just trying to keep the public safe. So I want to kind of show you one more time. Bobby Michael Dennis, described as a black male, last seen wearing all black clothing. Jacksonville Police are urging people to stay away from this area. If you know where he is, where Bobby's at, you are asked to call 911. I'm just going to let you guys look at this real quick on who law enforcement is looking at for. This is all hands on deck. Jacksonville Police I've seen out here. I've seen the SWAT out here. Cherokee County Sheriff's Office is out here. Texas Game Warden are out here. And then Texas DPS, which we have seen a lot of law enforcement out here with their guns just because, again, they've got an individual who is considered armed and dangerous and did shoot an officer. We're not sure exactly where this officer was shot at. We don't know how many times the officer was shot at. We are just been told by Jacksonville Police that this officer was shot and transported or airlifted to a Tyler hospital. Now, from earlier, we told you about this, that Cherokee County's mobile alert system actually issued a message indicating about the suspect involved in that shooting is at large near the Benson and Churchill area. Again, we've been waiting for law enforcement to update us. We've been, updating you here on Facebook Live and then streaming this thing just to keep you posted minute by minute, and hopefully by the 10 o'clock, which we've got another couple of hours before that, hopefully we'll have an update, and hopefully the suspect involved in this is taken into custody. Yeah, and I know details are limited right now, but out of respect to law enforcement, we're just allowing them to work their investigation and just updating you as we do get that information. I know the details are really limited, and people have been asking and commenting on this Facebook Live if the suspect has been caught, which we do know the suspect has been named as Bobby Michael Dennis, described as a black male, last seen wearing all black clothing. This is in the area or near the area of Churchill Street and Esther Street. We've been out here for now almost 2 hours just waiting for law enforcement. There had actually a SWAT team to the right of me, which you're not able to see. It's kind of dark over that way, but it was actually lit up very brightly because SWAT was out there, got on their loudspeaker asking for Bobby Dennis to come out of the shed because they had gotten a tip that Bobby Dennis had been there. Also heard from sources that there have been other locations that he may have been spotted at, but from what I've been able to gather from my sources is that he was not at either of those locations. So again, law enforcement is taking tips from the public. So if you have seen Bobby Dennis, if you know where he is, again, stay away from him because he is considered armed and dangerous, and he did shoot an officer. Again, that officer is in stable condition, was airlifted from here in Jacksonville to a Tyler hospital. We haven't gotten any other updates about if this is a female officer or a male officer or how long they've been with the department. At this time, we just know that that individual is, that officer is in stable condition, and certainly our thoughts and prayers are with that officer and all of the law enforcement out here as they try to bring the suspect into custody. We'll be sure to bring you any updates as soon as we get them. Stay with us for the very latest. get you just in front of the camera for me, please.
We get a quick.
Yeah, and are you recording this too? Just record it.
No.
Just for you. Okay. Mic check, mic check.
Mic check.
And it'll pick it up from right here. You're good.
Okay.
Just your first and last name for me, please.
Adrian Miller.
Okay. And how do you spell Adrian and Miller?
ADRAIN MILLER.
Okay. So Adrian, just kind of walk me through what you saw, what you heard.
Well, I really didn't see anything, but I didn't hear anything. But everybody had, mentioned what had happened. So, but like I said, I never known Mr. Business to be a violent person or anything like that. So it's pretty shocking. But prayers up for him, and the officer. But
so from what we've been able to confirm so far, an officer has been shot, was airlifted to a Tyler hospital, and we also just learned that a canine was also injured. We don't know if the canine was shot. That has not been confirmed. We just know that a canine was also involved in this. So you've lived out here in Jacksonville for how long?
All my life.
Okay. So knowing that when you saw the law enforcement presence, what was going on in the back of your mind?
That's the last thing I thought. I didn't think it was Mr. Dennis, because like I said, I've never known him to be a violent person or anything like that. So, and I thought it was just, something that just happened with some youngsters or something like that. But I never thought it'd be Mr. Dennis, and this, especially an officer being shot. But
what are your thoughts as you look behind you and you see the law enforcement presence? I mean, it's a huge law enforcement presence.
Yeah.
And literally right by where you live, what was going on through the back of your mind?
I say it was shocking, but like I said, I didn't think that it was a shooting or anything because, like I said, I hadn't heard anything. But then when we got here, they said that an officer had been shot and a canine. So, and I was like, wow. And then so I was trying to figure out what was going on. And they said it was Mr. Dennis, and that was hard to believe. So.
How would you describe? I mean, again, they are looking for him.
Yeah,
he is
I know.
considered a suspect involved in this. So,
but
you know of him? I mean,
yeah, I've known him, since I've been staying on the street, But like I said, he's never been appeared to be a violent person or anything like that. But like I said, you never know. But I said that was the last thing I thought when I got here, that that had happened.
You said you grew up here. I mean, this type of scene, I guess, is it relatively quiet, not normal, or how would you describe it?
No, it's really not. I mean, but. I haven't been living here all my life, but, since I moved here, it hadn't been, any violence or anything like that, but especially nothing like this, with the officer being shot, that's big.
And then, like you said, I know that you didn't think that,
And I definitely didn't think it was Mr. Dennis who'd be the one to do it, or anything violent that happened. I didn't think he would be involved in it, but, that was the last thing I thought. That's why we were out here like, dang, but I think he has PTSD or something like that.
Okay. And again, I mean, from what have you been able to hear from law enforcement? Have they said anything? Have you asked?
No, I was just listening, trying to see if the officer was okay. They said she's in critical condition. So, because like I said, that was very shocking, for Mr. Dennis to do something like that.
Yeah, it seems like they've got drones. We saw the SWAT team was out
Yeah,
here.
I seen the drones popping out. I was like, wow. But, yeah, like I said, I didn't think that, it was Mr. Dennis and nothing like that had occurred. That was the last thing I thought. But once I heard it, I was like, wow.
Such a sad situation, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
especially involving an officer
Yeah,
who
is she a female officer also?
we haven't been able to get that confirmed.
Yeah.
We just know that the officer was shot. We don't know where or how many times, but was airlifted to a Tyler hospital.
Oh, man. And like I said, prayers up for the officer and Mr. Dennis, because like I said, that's a hard situation. Like I said, it was the last thing I thought it'd be him to do something like that.
All right.
But
that's all I've got. Thank you so much.
you're welcome.
Hey, what's up?
They let me get this one.